part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Run, William, run! He's got blockers in front. 5, touchdown! Joshua Cribbs turns disaster into a score! Kick blocked! They blocked the kick!
Well, welcome in to basically the morgue of Browns podcast.
Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what.
Tyvis, I was like, how where do you start? Like, I didn't even put anything really together for this because I normally put like a little outline of like things, for us to hit. And I'm like, yeah, it's just, first of all, never did I think, and I think most people did not believe that this is where we would be.
Mm-hmm.
And, I keep trying, there's no one way to pinpoint what's going on. And I think in the past seasons, we've been able to be like, the quarterback sucks, which he does, but that's not the only problem, right? Like, and even past seasons when we have been a losing team, we knew we were losers. It's worse when when you think you're not a loser, but you actually are a loser. And that's where we are.
You feel bamboozled.
I do. And I feel, I can't pinpoint who's in charge, because if it's Kevin, he's doing a really crappy job at this point, leaving Deshaun with that decision. And if it's not, which I don't think it is, and it's the Haslams.
Why does everybody keep thinking that?
Well, because why in any other situation, Tyvis, would Deshaun Watson, if he was just a quarterback we drafted like a Baker or whatever, which we did play Baker, which I do want to talk about that a little bit because not about him now, but back then, I don't know how in any other situation at this point in the season he would have been benched, or he would have been taken out at some point.
Are you talking about Baker or Deshaun?
Deshaun.
Well, for a
Don't
while,
you think?
For a while, for this week, that's been like everybody's taking that and ran with it. Like, this has to be Jimmy making this call. And, I can understand why you could think that. I can understand why people would think that. Like, you pay somebody $230 million, you want a return on your investment.
Right.
At the same time, who wanted Deshaun? That's the question.
That's another question.
Like, was it Jimmy? Was it AB? Or was it Kevin?
Everything I've heard, it was Jimmy.
Whoever wanted Deshaun, obviously, is like, they got to ride this thing out. Like whoever decision it was, whether it was Jimmy's, whether it was AB, whether it's Kevin, whoever made it, because I have no idea who it is, but whoever made the decision is the reason why you can't bench him. Because somebody's got to, if it doesn't work out, like somebody has to take the fall for this, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And that's why I think Kevin,
if Kevin or AB wanted Deshaun and it's not working, and let's say for instance, for this exercise, let's say AB was the one like, hey, we got to have him. He's the guy he's the missing piece. We got to have him. And they get Kevin on, he gets Kevin on board, he gets Jimmy on board, and Jimmy's like, whatever, give him the money, whatever. Okay. If it don't work out, then AB would be the one that gets fired. If it was Kevin would be the one that gets fired. The only person that obviously wouldn't get fired is Jimmy, because obviously he owns the team. So at the end of the day, they owe it to themselves to see this thing at least through for a year. And I think where they're at with it is, and I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic because everybody is so quick to just say Deshaun. And I get it. He's the quarterback. And when things are going good, the quarterback gets the praise. When things are going bad, the
Totally.
quarterback gets the blame. That's
Totally.
just the way it is, especially if you're getting paid the money that you're getting paid.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to sit here. First of all, let me clarify, because a lot of people, everybody in the world it's only two sides. It's you either pro Deshaun or against Deshaun. Everybody knows that I am a glorified fence rider. I always am Team Switzerland.
This country is always one or the other.
I am always and will always remain Switzerland in any scenario. Okay, I see both sides. With that being said, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's just Deshaun's fault. Like, I'm not. It's not. That's unfair, because that offensive line has plays where they don't do well. He's also made throws where receivers didn't catch the ball. That's a fact. However, I'm not going to be oblivious to say it ain't his fault, because he's had some clean pockets where he's seen ghosts and tried to scramble out of there. He's missed some throws when he had a clean pocket, and he's made some terrible decisions as well. So therefore I see it both ways. However, what I will say, because I'm just Tyvis, they owe it. It's a new scheme. It's a new OC. You are switching the protection of the line. I always say it's like, for example, this team, when you built this team for so long, when you had this thing going really well, when you went out and got some of these guys, and when you developed and molded these guys, you molded them to be run, play action, that type of thing, that type of style. You didn't make them be a spread. It's different. They can't, it's not like they can't do it, but for 4 or 5 years, I've been run blocking, even in play action, that's still run blocking to a degree. And now you telling me to do the spread where you got me pass proing 40, 50 times a game. And that's just not saying that I can't do it. It's going to take me some time to get ready to do it, And on top of that, we didn't do preseason. A lot of guys are getting banged up and in and out of the lineup. So it does mess up things, and it murkies up the.
I shouldn't say that. I know why they did it.
I know why
they did it.
You know
but it's
why
not
they
working.
did it.
But Tyvis, he's not good enough. And because of that, it exposes everything else. Because if he was good enough, it would expose a lot of that other crap that we're noticing, right? Good QB play cleans up a lot of shit. So like, if it ain't working with him now, if this is not our identity, if we are trying to be something that we're not, we got to cut it, and we got to try to fit him back in. And I don't think they should. I'm actually with you now, Tyvis, on the play calling.
What do you mean?
Why would? Because now they're calling for Stefanski to let's switch it up and have Ken Dorsey play calls. What's that going to do at this point? Really?
Well, I think so. Playing devil's advocate, let's say that this is Ken Dorsey's scheme. Let's say that they brought Ken in because obviously somebody said they're running the ball was not the way to get it done. We wanted to be explosive in passing. We wanted to get those.
Always wanted to try and be
passes.
that, and we're not.
Right, but exactly. So you see what I'm saying. So you took a team that's identity was something, and now you're trying to make it into something, and now we as an organization and as a fan base is upset at what we're seeing.
We can't change men. This is not new.
That's the point. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is not new.
If you wanted to do that, you should have changed everybody, because you trying to switch up a whole scheme. Like, that's not my style. Like, I don't do that. That's not how I thrive. But to answer your question about the play calling thing, if this is Ken's stuff, okay. First of all, I always tell you play calling is overrated. Whoever calls plays, I think that's overrated. But for this,
why I'm asking you about this.
If this is Ken's stuff, and I'm Kevin, okay, because like I just told you, somebody got to pay for this, okay.
And somebody will.
Somebody got to pay for this. So if I was Kevin, if I say, you know what, this is your stuff, you go out there, you call this stuff, you see if you make it work. So when it don't work, you can say, that's his.
1,000%. But that's why. So Tyvis today, when Kevin Stefanski was on, when he did his press conference, and he was flat out asked, right, are you changing quarterbacks? He said, no. Probably the most like straight answer we've gotten from him in a long time. And then if that's the case, okay, then it does start to put him back. If he wants to go ahead and stand behind this, then of whether it's his decision or not, and he's gonna ride this, he's gonna get burned on both ends, because he's gonna get burned by the ownership because they're gonna hang him out to dry.
But yeah,
And
how can you do that?
what do you mean? Because if he's out there saying, "No, I'm playing Deshaun. I'm going to play Deshaun," like he's our starting QB, and he continues to shit the bed every week out there, then the Haslam's are going to be able to use him as be like, "Well, you couldn't coach him, right? Like it was your team," and he can't say, "Well, I'm going to quit." If you don't let me do my job, like,
Holly,
then
you don't think it's strange that we don't know Kevin's extension?
what do you mean? I thought it was for 3 years, wasn't it?
They never came out and said what it was. I don't know what it is. We just know he got extended, but I don't know how long, how much money.
Let me looking this up. Stefanski.
Let me know, because this is news to me. If you tell me 3 years, this is new, because I always wanted to know, like, why did they never drop the numbers?
Well, let's see. Extended. Both signed contract extensions.
You get extended for.
We are thrilled that Kevin and Andrew will remain with the team for the future.
Okay. Was it okay? 1 year?
That's interesting.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
I haven't heard anyone bring that up.
Usually they say, like, we extended them for 4 or 5 years. I don't know what it is. It could be 1 year.
That's a good point. And you know what? That's a good. I'm gonna have to let me look into that. I'm gonna look into that, because
please do get back to me, because I'm dying.
I haven't heard anyone bring that up either.
I'm dying to know what the details is. Usually it's like public record, and not that one though. Not neither one of them. So that to me has been a thought to me.
But yeah, well, that's another layer to this. Like, if that's what I'm saying though, like if you're looking at it one way, if Kevin's the coach and Kevin is in charge and Kevin is making these decisions and he continues to put Deshaun Watson out there because he thinks that he's going to either turn it around or whatever he thinks. He's leaving him out there and we're continuing to get worse and worse every week. Then if he's deciding that, then that does fall on him, and he is hurting the team. He's not helping the team, he's hurting the team. And
I think
if it's not,
I think it's because, first of all, they do get a benefit that we don't. They see them every day. They see practice and they see stuff. And even the players come out and they say, we've executed in practice,
sure,
but for some reason it's not translating. Like G New said, we had the best week of practice we had all year.
Yeah.
And for some odd reason, it ain't translating to the game. So, I know people are like, well, what the heck does that mean? Well, that means that they got more data on it than we do. So they see, like, it probably works. Like, it works in practice. It looks good. So they thinking we seen it work. We know it can work. But they trying to figure out why isn't it not working on game day. And I thought to myself, and this is me, I'm pulling straws. And I'm not the blame game, but I'm just, hear me out. Hear me out, okay? Because I always think about things that other people don't think about. Could it be, okay? Let me paint this picture. I'm Picasso on this thing. Could it be that due to the injuries that's happening, because at this point a lot of guys are banged up. So you got guys that miss practice and you got guys that's like kind of limited, usually when you get to practice around this time, guys are going about 75%. So could it be that the scout team isn't going as hard as they should because their brother-in-law on them? They don't want to go hard on them because they want them to be fresh for the game. They know that they're dealing with something. So they're not going hard, which then gives the player a false narrative that, oh, yeah, I was able to make this in practice because, blah, blah, blah. But then they get to the game and it's 100% and that guy is really good. And it's like, oh, wait, this is a little bit harder than practice. Because, they say how you practice typically is how you play. So could that be I'm pulling straws here. Like I'm pulling one like Steph
all right,
Curry.
this is
I'm pulling one
we're
like
really
Steph
down in
Curry
the
right
weeds here,
now.
Tyvis. And if it is on the scouts, that is a new blame for this organization, guys. It's
I'm
the
looking for
scouts.
something.
It
I'm
isn't the
looking for
QB.
something. Am I wrong? Can I be wrong in
I
this?
I I don't know.
At the scout
Anything
team,
is.
at the
Yes,
scout
I do
team.
think you're wrong, but I think they're lazy. I think Deshaun thought he was a lot better than he is. I think that they all thought that this was going to be a lot easier of a start of the season. They're not on the same page. Deshaun, I just think that it's not there anymore. And I think we're going to get these small glimpses of hope. I think we're going to get a throw or two or a catch or two that, shows that, hey, remember that? It's like being with someone for a really long time and looking back and it's when you're in love with someone, it's not so much as what have you done for me lately, because you're like, you have a strong base of love, right?
That's
And
a lie. Lauren better be.
you know what I'm saying. It's not you might ask, what have you done for me
Times
lately on a
Lauren better
daily
be doing
basis,
her
but
part.
you love someone, right? But I look back at relationships I was in Tyvis, and they treat me like crap the last however many months, and then I think about, but all I can think about is the time that they were nice to me, right? The
Mhm.
time that they were good to me, the time that they treated me the way that I needed to be treated.
Mhm.
And that's what you
And
hang on to. You hang
you
on,
hope, yeah, you hope that it
hope.
comes back.
And guess what? It's not. You can't change. I wanted to, and I still, there's like parts of me that think, man, like, but what if? Like, what if he could maybe out of nowhere turn it around? But it's not going to happen. And so if we're looking out of the future, I am now going to look to leadership at this point in the season and say, okay, well, you cannot continue to march that team out there and expect fans to come down there and spend their money and do all that stuff. And I, as someone, and you as someone that knows and works in the business part of this, that people will still come and the whole thing, but it will affect, because Deshaun, even not even the on the field stuff, the off the field stuff.
Well, I mean
He's
that.
it's been a divided fan base.
Well, I'm
So
about to say, yeah,
now,
that they picked their style a long time ago, and they
right. But
not.
now, if anyone was on the fence of any of this to a certain extent, it's like, what was I keeping my hope here for? Because if he's not it's not like he's this great guy off the field. I think sometimes you want to cheer for those people like off the field that like are like really good and like really good people, like, and you want them to do well because they're good people, and they're like, it's not good enough. Like the nice guy doesn't win. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Trust me, I lived it.
yeah, but so it's hard to root for that. I just don't see how this organization, the leadership, can truly come out to the public, to the media, to the fans, and sit there and hold strong on these decisions while watching it literally go up in flames behind them. Like that doesn't make sense to me. And it's a weird spot to be in as a Browns fan, I think, right now, and just to be watching this team in general, because I've it's such a weird conflicting thing. We've had so many conflicting feelings about this team and Deshaun and Kevin and the whole thing, like back and forth
I
to
think, but you saying this, let's keep this thing right on Stefanski here, because the thing is, you saying it like you. The funny thing is that fans are shocked at Kevin for doing this when Kevin did the same thing with Baker when he was hurt. Like they kept marching him out
yeah,
there, and
but I think he wanted Baker out. I think and I agree. I think he did. I think he wanted Baker out, and that's why he's going to play him. And I think I'm hoping maybe that his thought, if it was Deshaun, is I'm going to keep playing him. You put him in, and I'm going to march his ass out there every Sunday and watch him get burned every week, and watch all the fans hate you, and it ain't going to be
that's
my
a
fault. And guess
that's
what?
a
They're going to
that's a
turn it on him.
no, that's a loser mentality. You can't do that because
Well,
that
that's what happened. I'm guaranteed that's what happened at Baker in the end. He kept putting Baker out there. Now, Baker, I've always said
Baker
too,
wanted to go out
Baker
there.
wanted to go out
So
there.
yeah, so like that's
The feeling was mutual.
yeah.
This is different. And
I mean, this is the same situation. You think Deshaun don't want to go out there?
I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know where. I can at least say with Baker, guy was hanging by a thread, but he still put his ass out there every week. And look, I think not this past week, but the week before, Deshaun showed fight and he showed care. So, and I appreciate that. And I was hoping to see even some more of that this past week. And he wanted, I mean, he was really getting beat up bad. I was even surprised that he can get taken out at that point. I just think that if this is the route that they're might all summing it all up, if this is the route that they're gonna go, and this is the hill they're gonna die on of,
I just think
and for Kevin, then he is gonna have to be the one if he's gonna be the face, and he's the one that's saying this is how it is, and I'm gonna put him out there. Then he's setting himself up. He's putting himself in a lose-lose situation. That's it, because they're gonna be able to use him if it doesn't go right, and
I just think that the mistake was, trying to switch up things. And don't get me wrong, I know why they did it. They did it because
sure,
you wanted to cater to the quarterback. And I think that what you got to realize is at some point, because my biggest thing with Deshaun at this moment is his processing. And I get it. Mind you, I played quarterback as a freshman. That was it. But like, I get why he does what he does, but then there's times that I don't get it as well, because the processing of stuff to me it's taking a long time, and that it makes him hold the ball. But I also get there's times where he's dropping back, and I mean, as soon as he takes his third step, like, they're there. So I get why sometimes he's seeing ghosts, and why he's in his mind. Once that happens to him a couple times in his mind, he's thinking, all right, I got like 1 second. I can look at one dude and then I got to make something happen. And I think he got to hit the reset button, and it comes with trust. And don't get me wrong, trust is something that's earned, from repeated actions over and over again, and it's hard to do in the course of this game. But it's a lot of plays to be made out there that he's not making because of the simple fact that I think he's suffering from PTSD from getting hit all the time and getting sacked. And I think he has to find a way to have a short-term memory on his offensive line. And I think that he also, when you I think he, I think he's an improvisation quarterback. I think he's one of those guys that thrives best when he improvises. You think about this: the Raiders game, the play that got called back from Amari Cooper, the
mm-hmm.
dime pass,
Mm-hmm.
like, he improvised on that, and he scrambled around. Then he found his dude, and then you
But
think
he
about.
read the field, right?
But you,
Like he
but you,
read.
but also think about Houston, Deshaun. Think about the plays that he made in Houston. It was a
Uh,
lot of it was improvisation. He ran around and
yeah,
somebody went deep.
trying to find a guy right
He
open. I
chucked
know.
the guy. But that, so you're asking your offensive line to go from, guys who were statues: Joe Flacco, Case Keenum, Baker Mayfield, Jacoby Brissett. All of these guys took drops, and they, like, you kind of knew where they was at. You knew as an offensive line, I can't see him, but I know he's right there. When you got Deshaun, he kind of drifts a little bit in the
Mm-hmm.
pocket. So now that's why you're getting holding calls, because I'm trying to block for this spot
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know where he's at. So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like trying to make sure I block for this spot, but he's going this way. So, like, I think that they're not used to it. And on top of it, he hasn't played a lot with them. I just think the whole thing,
And
it's
that
just a lot of stuff. It's a lot of little
it's
things
a
that
lot of
people
things
don't.
that turn big things.
It's just a lot of little
And
things that
Deshaun's not
people
good
don't
enough to
pay
cover him
attention
up.
to. And yeah, and that's what it is. At the end of the day, he's trying to make up for it with some of the things. And don't get me wrong, every now and again, he gets you a nice little scramble out of it, improvises and makes some good throws and things like that. But, like, at some point, you got to become more of a traditional style quarterback. And I think that's the thing that he's fighting the most, to come to a system. Because didn't he say one of the reasons he came here is because he liked Kevin's system and stuff like that? So if you like his system, how is it that we completely got rid of all of that? That whole system
Well,
that
yeah,
you
and you should
really
never.
like.
I think it was Michael Lombardi that said that. Like you don't change your system for a quarterback, right? Like the quarterback you bring into your system, like you make it fit with your system, and that's wait. we've done the complete opposite, and it isn't working. And that's where I'm like, okay, well, if it's not working, it is clearly not working. And if we still needed more time, well, guess what? There's no more time to be had. There's no more time to try and figure it out. There's no more time to sit there and get comfortable. There's no more time. We're an old team now. We've been this stagnant, like purgatory for the past 3 years, and this is supposed to be the year. And if they did all this prep, they did, but that's the thing. They did none of this prep. They should have done. The fact that we went into this season week 1 when you and I were previewing Dallas, we were like, we think they're gonna be good. Like we had no idea because we didn't see anything. No one had seen anything, and no wonder no one had seen anything because there was nothing to see.
I got one question for you because this has been the hot topic as well.
Okay.
You see fans talking about let's just get ready to draft a quarterback, and with the first round pick. Do you trust Andrew Berry to make the select the right quarterback?
Right. I don't know. And that is where now these bigger questions are going to come into play, because if that is the case and he is the one, then yeah, we look at his past 3. I mean, we know who's been able to pick and who is not. I mean, we also haven't had a first round pick, so I don't even know. I mean, and do we want to risk it again? I mean, that's where all of these questions now are starting so early. These they're not the questions that we haven't heard in a while these past couple seasons. 1, we haven't had to because we haven't had our first round pick, but 2, because we've been playing well. And like, if you think about it, Stefanski's been able to make however many quarterbacks look good. This one he can't. So you want to say, okay, this has got to be the reason. That's Deshaun's got to be the reason. So, and if it was AB that went down there and said, I want him, then yeah, I'm gonna be worried about who he would bring in. So, but I think he's a very smart guy, and I think Kevin's a very smart guy. I think.
Oh man.
I just, I mean, this is where the conversations are going to start to just continue to grow, and it's going to be a domino effect.
Oh my goodness.
Do you?
Do I trust AB to draft a quarterback? I mean, it's hard to, depending on where the pick is. Let's just say that. Let's say if they got the first pick of the draft.
Sure. Right. All right. Top 10 pick, not top 5.
I think that's even better because that's even better to me because now your excuse is I only had a certain who I really thought I wanted is probably gone. I don't even know who the top was. Carson Beck and Shador Sanders. Is that like the top 2?
Yeah, I don't know about that Shador Sanders. I don't know. That's where I didn't want to talk about the draft this early in this year, and here we are,
I don't care what happens. First of all, I know people are all on this quarterback thing. Baloney if you think they drafted a quarterback with the first pick. I'm just with the first round. Like it's gonna be a left tackle because that's still the thing that you desperately need the most.
What about a wide receiver?
You got Jerry Jeudy. You can get one in the second round, but you desperately need that left tackle. Listen, I know everybody points to Jamar Chase, or when they drafted Jamar Chase instead of Penei Sewell, which either one would have been a home run. But the problem with that is that doesn't happen often, and you can't look at that and just be like, oh, that's gonna happen for us like that. I think that's the problem. I think that's what how we got into this situation to begin with, is that you looked around the league and you saw all this and that and this and that and thought, I need that on my team. I need my team to be like that. And no, you don't. You need to go by what your identity is, and that's running the ball and run play action. That's what Kevin is really good at. Heck, they would have been better drafting Brock Bowers. He would have been better drafting Brock Bowers because that's what Kevin is good at doing with tight ends and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's boring. Nobody loves it, but it works and it wins games.
But it works and it wins.
At the end of the day, that's what matters. That's what this city wants, is to win the ball game. I don't care if we throw for 500 yards or we run for 500 yards. Like, it doesn't matter. I just want to win the game. And we spend so much time talking about the offense. I'm not even really that disappointed in the offense. It's the defense that really cuts me deep. Like that, I don't even know
because you have high expectations
I
of
don't
how
know
good
who
they've
they
been.
are anymore. Like you talk about you feel bamboo. I feel completely bamboozled by the defense because don't get me wrong. I know Miles is dealing with some stuff. I get that. I do. But the fact is, he still goes out there and he looks better than
1,000%.
10 other guys. Only other person that, oh no, excuse me, 9 other guys. The only person that he doesn't look better than is JOK. That's the only person that out there that looks like somebody that looked like he did last year. The rest of them is all imposters to me. And it bothers me that there's no way that y'all went from that good of a defense to what y'all are. And y'all got the same people. It is
Do you
the
think they
same
just thought it
people.
was not, they
It's the
thought they were
same
going to get figured
scheme.
out? Like what?
Don't know what clearly they read their press clippings. Clearly, don't get me wrong. I'm not naive. I know guys are bumped and bruised. I know guys are dealing with certain stuff that they're not talking about. If that's the case, get out the game. Like, this is bad. Like, it really breaks my heart to see some of the stuff that goes on. Like, I think I'm not 100% sure. I didn't look at the all 22, but I promise you, I think Ronnie Hickman busted coverage when Terry McLaurin caught that dang ball like on Denzel. I promise you, I think he did, and it baffles me that we are in week 5 and we still talking about tackling. We talking about blown coverage. We talking about communication, and we talking about attention to detail. Something that was already supposed to be addressed week 1 because you said the same thing, and all this happened week 1. So why is it y'all letting it slide and bleed into the season? It makes absolutely no sense. I don't know who the leader is, but they need to step up and do something. Like y'all had you had a players only meeting, and then went out there and had the
What happens in a
performance
players only
that
meeting?
you had. Like, that doesn't, where did they do that at? You got no results from a players only meeting.
What happens in a players only meeting?
That's like when you come out and Rodney McLeod talked about it. He said
Yeah, but he
it
didn't
was
really say much.
it was all positive,
That's
we
what I'm
just
saying.
wanted to get on
He
the
didn't
same
say
page.
anything.
Usually it's not. Usually you calling some guys out and blah, blah, blah like that. Like, what's going on? You trying to get everybody motivated to go out there and play. And if you care, everybody talks about the brother. Oh, it's such a brotherhood. Oh, we got this bond there. We really care about each other. I can't tell. Because if you truly care about your brother and you really love him that much, one, you would go out there and you would play your butt off for him. You wouldn't
Right.
even be about you. It would be about him. Because when you think about him, you think about his family. You think about his kids. You think about his wife. You think about the fact that if it doesn't work out, he probably will get cut. And you won't see his family no more. That's how real this stuff is. But no, y'all want to go out there and y'all want to be cool. Y'all don't want to say nothing to nobody. And I don't understand it. I don't. I just don't get it. And it really bothers me. Like, I could care less what's going on that side of the ball. All I know is if they don't score, they don't win. That's a fact. So the fact that they don't do anything and they just sit back and fold cards and let things happen bothers me. Jim Schwartz came in there and changed that whole identity. What did he do?
That badassery is
did he just exactly like what happened?
So
what
happened?
happened?
So then if that's the case, then what is it? Because is it that they just really thought they were going to go into the season and just continue to dominate and not have to work as hard? Did they think that they weren't going to get figured out? Do they not believe in each other and they don't want to? Like, is it all maybe a little bit of everything? I don't know, probably. But if there's no accountability then on top of all of that, that's where when you're not held accountable for your actions, you continue to do those actions because no one is telling you there's no repercussions for your actions. So if they're continuing to do this without any real repercussions, then that goes back to coaching, right? And that's not just look, every player on that team is a professional athlete making a lot of money. They are making their own decisions. They are out there. They are not children. They are adults.
You know what I see? You know what I see when I watch them play? I see a bunch of players committing grand larceny. That's what I really see. I see people just stealing money out there, and it only bothers me because they didn't even let me do it. They could have let, and they could have let me steal. All I wanted was 10. I got 10 million. And you know what the difference is? I would
And
have
no,
got there and
instead
played
you're
my
here with
heart
me and
out.
Ty. So
I would have played my heart out for them 10. I played hard for them 10. They be out there just kicking it. They out there just kicking it. That's the part that bothers me. Like the fact that y'all don't be caring. Like it ain't nobody no passion out there no more. Like what happened? What happened? I need answers. I know
well,
everybody's up in arms about the offense. Maybe it's because I'm a former
well,
defensive
yes,
player.
you're a
I
former
don't
defense
care.
guy.
I don't care about the offense. I'm sorry. I don't care
Well,
about
it's just because it's so much worse. Because if the QB if the offense was playing decent, Tyvis, there would definitely be, I think, a lot more emphasis on the defense. So if the offense was playing better, but because the offense is, it's like that glaring bad thing. It's like when that you have like aches and pains, but like when you break your arm, like that takes precedent. Like that's what it is. And so the defense, almost in a weird way, is kind of skating through some of these bad play weeks because the focus is so much heavier on the offense. And maybe that's a part of it too. Because it's so bad on the offense, they just
Holly.
there isn't as much emphasis.
You know what I said? I said last year. I said it probably if they play what they play 18 games last year. I probably said it 18 times last year. That defense was so good that it was either going to keep you in the game or win the game.
Absolutely.
And now that defense is so terrible that our offense got to put up 40 points a game just to win. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I played on a team where the defense was bad, but the offense was electric. You ain't winning nothing. you ain't. We lost in a Big Ten championship because it finally caught up. We had offense that could outscore anybody, but
Mm-hmm.
that Big Ten championship, we just it fell apart. It fell apart. So I'm just telling you right now. If you want to fix the season, it's start. And it's a great test. Oh, it's such a great test coming up this week with Philadelphia. And then, guess what? They getting AJ back. They getting Devontae back. Oh, and they coming off a bye week too. So they going to be
Mm-hmm.
on all cylinders. I think they lost their last game before the bye week, if I remember
Yes,
correctly.
they lost to Tampa Bay.
Okay, good. So they going to come in there and
They got their asses beat by Tampa
they
Bay.
trying to get right. So you have no choice. It's gonna be glaring what it is this week. If y'all go out there, they put up 40-something points on this defense, y'all quit. That's just what it is. I don't care what nobody say. They quit because going into this game, you have to
And
be.
they're
You
and they're
know it.
coaching, and Nick Sirianni is in the hot seat. I mean, there's
Both teams is desperate.
that's what I'm saying.
They both desperate.
They're both desperate. So, and last time we played another desperate team was Vegas, and
I ain't hearing it. I'm just telling you, I'm not hearing nothing. I'm not hearing nothing. After if they lose this game and it's like last week, like it's like the Washington game, I ain't hearing it.
well, that's what I mean. And so
I'm
that's
not
why,
hearing
and
it.
that's why Kevin standing strong today. Deshaun's our guy, and it goes haywire again. Who? He's digging his own grave, whether it's his fault or not.
But I believe in them. I say
No,
all that to
let's end it
say.
that way. But
I
we
say
but
all
we
I
still
say all that
believe
to
in him.
say. I do believe in them. I do believe because that's what they do. That's what they do. They get you upset, and then they go play somebody that you say, you know what? They absolutely have no shot at winning that game, and they go win. That's just the stuff that. And then they reel you back in, and now you hook. Oh, maybe this is the turning point. Then they go out there and they drop an egg against somebody. I don't even know how many weak opponents, quote unquote, weak opponents they got left. But they're going to go out there and drop an egg against them. And then we're going to be like, so, see, there it is again. Then they're going to win against somebody really good and reel you back in. That's just what they do.
Well, I
That's just
know.
what
Well,
they do.
so if since they like to play with our emotions,
I don't have to.
then they win.
Listen, I don't care.
I know that you don't, but a lot of people do.
I don't care.
A lot of people do, and a lot of people are
I gotta,
invested, and
I
so
gotta get
that's
y'all feelings out of this because y'all gonna be upset and
no,
y'all
because
gonna
when
go with
it's
the roller
fun,
coaster.
because when the team is fun, and when the team like this is winning, when a team like this is successful, it truly does. Like I think about 2020, and I think about COVID, and I remember how fun that year was, and I remember one of the few things that stuck around, that a few things that kept everyone's spirits up was sports and live sports. Sports is fun, it's entertainment. It was an escape. It was something for people to do and watch and believe in. And I think, when you start to really toy with that in a way where you take advantage of it, we're all toyed with our feelings and emotions when it comes to being sports fans on all these with all these teams. But when you really start to like purposely mess with it, you're getting into a dark territory. And I fear that this is we're on the outskirts of this weird dark territory that we've not been in before since Deshaun's been here. We've been playing around and toying little too far with fans. And I just, if we continue to trot this guy out there, it just, I feel for the fans. That being said,
You picking them to
you
win.
always want that hope.
You picking them to win.
And go Browns.
We sat here and ranted for about 30 minutes, and all yet and still, I can see them doing it.
With that said, let's go to predictions.
I can see the vision to where they could do it.
So, what is your prediction? What are they?
Let me ask you
this. Is Philadelphia favored by, wasn't it 9.5?
Let me ask you this. I don't know if you would have this answer or not. Is Jordan Hicks playing in this game? Do you know? I don't even know.
No, I don't know. I mean, is he? I mean, I don't know.
See, that's a big.
We don't know.
It's a big part to me. The reason I ask is because I seen a big difference in the fact that I didn't know how important he was until this past Sunday. Like they really gave up some yards in the run game. I mean, Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson Jr. just they did their thing. And now you're talking about Saquon Barkley, who I went against in college as a freshman, and he hurdled me. Which is the only time in my life I've ever been hurdled by another human being because I'm tall. So I didn't, it was something that I never thought that would happen. And when he did it, I said, this dude is a grown man, That being said, if Devin Bush is starting, I'm worried. I am. JOK is good, but they run that ball in Philly. Like that's what they do a good job at their scheme of running the ball. And I'm worried about that. Then the Martin Emerson thing, I know a lot of he's lost. I'll tell you what, his stock is plummeting every game, and it's really it's sad. I'm gonna tell you why it's sad to see that, because before this season, I told the UCSS panel, I said he gonna get exposed this year. I'm telling you, I just think he gonna have a bad year. You can ask any of them. I said, I think he gonna have a bad year. And they say, why you say that? And I said, because towards the end of the season last year, people figured him out. And I'm telling you right now, if he don't work on it, they gonna come back at it. And I promise you, I've been seeing it every week. I mean, they just good night. Oh man. And I wanted to be wrong. That's the part. I'm mad at myself.
Well, we all wanted to be wrong about.
I'm mad at myself because I was right. And I truly, truly, truly wanted him to be. I wanted to be wrong on this situation, and he making me right, and I don't like that. And obviously, he's got the Devontae, matchup. I would imagine Denzel is going to travel, but the thing with Denzel is, why does he not finish the games anymore? Like, I don't know what he's dealing with, but whatever it is, it's really.
You think they're maybe just not playing him as much because of all the concussions?
No, because they said he left the game because of a hamstring.
I know, but he's had 5. I don't know. Maybe there's something more there. Maybe they're just.
Well, we don't have the depth for that. That's my problem. Like, remember how everybody was, we got to get rid of Geno. We're good. We'll have Cam Mitchell. We know we don't. We need both of them. We ain't got no.
Well, no one thought we were going to be this deep in injuries either, right? It's not the next man up is not there.
Last year, that was the thing. It didn't matter who was in there. It was still production. And now people are just banged up. They're just not 100%. They're like
because everyone was working on the same cylinders with the same game plan and the same goal and the same vision and all that. And it ain't this
what
year.
happened to the next man up mentality? Last year, next man up was
he's hurt.
The motto. Now this year, whoever the next man up ain't getting it done.
It's been next man up with Stefanski since 2020. It was next man up in 2020 when everybody was getting COVID. Remember, that's when he flew in Blake Hance, or he drove. We drove Blake Hance from Philly in because if he had to fly, there was like another through test he was gonna have to take or something like that during COVID. So we were able to bring in Blake Hance, and that's when Baker met him like the day of the game. That was a different time, but everybody was dedicated and wanted the same thing. And it's not on it. We're not on the same cylinders.
How could you be close like that last year? Go out the fashion that you went out and not be motivated to try to make it better.
Well, then that's leadership. Then you don't believe in leadership, because when you look around and you don't believe in leadership and you don't believe in when you're surrounded by people that are good at what they do and they're good at their job and they're successful, that makes you want to be successful. That makes you want to be a better person and a better player and a better teammate all around. I happen to work on a good team right now with my regular day job, and I love it. And I love the people I work with, and it motivates me to want to be better because they want to be better. And so it translates, is my point, into on the field, off the field, in any job. So if you're with a group of people that don't give a shit, then you're like, well, why do I give a shit? You don't give a shit. You're not doing your job. Why am I going to do mine? Why am I putting myself out there? Because you're not doing your job. It starts to manifest that stuff, So if until they can mentally get someone on the same page and feel like they're actually ready to try to salvage anything of this season, you have to stop. What's the quote? You have to stop losing before you can start winning. Who said that? Isn't that what it is? It's like, that's what's his face? Is that Parcells?
You got to stop losing before you start winning.
You have to stop yourself from losing before you can start winning. I don't know. There's something. It's something like that.
But that's the thing.
Something very simple, but it's so true. You have to stop yourself. You got to stop losing before you can actually start to win. And it's true. I mean, you have to be able to stop what's going wrong in order for things to start to go right. It's not just going to translate the next day, and if they can't, they need to figure out what they're doing wrong before they can start doing things right. I'm sure that whatever that quote is, it is somewhat of in that whole thing I just went on. So what's your prediction? You didn't even give me your prediction.
I think it'll be like 21-17. 21-24. 21-24, last second field goal. Dustin Hopkins.
You think they're going to win? Okay. I don't. I have no reason to pick them. So
nobody does. And you
I think they're going to lose, and I think it's going to not be as terrible as in fashion it was last week, but I think it's going to be up there. I think we're going to get scored. I don't think we're going to hit the 20 points that we have yet to hit this season. So, but
that's fair.
Philly, I did see a stat, has not scored in the first quarter at all yet this season. So
let's hope that the Browns,
if we can get off to a good start in the beginning.
Yeah, that'd be nice. It comes down to
more than the first drive.
To be honest with you, it comes down to tackling and physicality to me.
Well, yeah, and they can't miss. I mean, the tackling has been abysmal.
What did they do this offseason?
Nothing. Didn't work as hard as you and me.
I guess.
Well, we'll see. We'll see where we're at. We'll see where we're at next week. So, go Browns.
Go Browns.